I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on quadratic relations. In this video, we'll discuss about discriminant test for number of real roots, right? So the word real roots is important. So we're going to check the discriminant to test for the number of real roots. In the questions, I have not mentioned the word real roots. However, whenever we are trying to say roots at this stage, we are talking about real roots. So normally this topic is done in grade 10 when the students have not yet learned about the imaginary roots. The four questions here are: determine the value of k so that the equation y equals to 3x squared minus 2kx plus 12 has two roots. I mean two real roots, right? Question 2 is determine the value of k so that this equation has equal roots, right? Question number 3 is determine the values of k such that the equation y equals to 4kx squared plus 8x plus k has no solution. So no real solution. And question number 4 is the equation y equals to k plus 3x squared plus 2 k plus 3x plus x plus 4 has only one real solution, right? So one solution, we mean one real solution. Is that clear to you, right? So it is important to note, let me write down that quadratic equation can have two complex roots, correct? So that is kind of a caution, since the video will be watched by many students who may not be uh, restricting themselves in the domain of real numbers. Perfect? Okay. So two more things to recall. That is, if I have a quadratic equation, let us say of the form y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, in that case, the solution is x equals to minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac over 2 times a. The term b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant. We normally write it with capital letter D. And the analysis of D will actually help us finding out how many real solutions are there in this particular case, right? So if D is equal to 0, in that case we get one real solution. Well, there are two roots both at the same point, right? And if D is greater than 0, then in that case we get two real solutions. And if D is less than 0, in that case we have no real solution, right? So these are the three conditions which we are going to check. Another thing which we are going to learn is also how to solve inequalities. Since we have the term inequalities here, this is definitely an equation. So we are also going to learn how to solve equations and inequalities. Correct. So let's begin with the very first question, which is determine the value of k so that the equation y equals to 3x squared minus 2kx plus 12 has two roots, means two real solutions. Okay. So the equation given to us is y equals to 3x squared minus 2kx plus 12. So in this case, what is a discriminant? Discriminant for us is, let me write down the values which we have, a, b, and c, right? So a is 3 for us, the coefficient of x squared. B is the coefficient of x, which is minus 2k, and c is the constant term, which is 12, right? So the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac, can be written as minus 2k, that is b part, square, minus 4 times a is 3 and c is 12. Since we are looking for two roots, two real roots, right? In that case, this should be greater than 0. That will give us two real roots, right? So within the square root, if you have positive things, we get two solutions, right? So let's try to solve this particular inequality. So we have here 4k squared minus 12 times 12 is 144, which is greater than 0. So you can factor this, taking 4 common, we get k squared minus, dividing this by 4, 4 times 3 is 4 times 3 is 12 and 24 is 6. So we get this. And that gives you 36 is 6 square, right? So we get this as 4 times k minus 6 times k plus 6 equal to 0. So we just factored this since 36 is 6 square. So a square minus b square we have utilized. Now as far as zeros are concerned, we have two critical numbers here. K equals to 6 and k equals to minus 6 will give us the zeros. Now once you know the zeros, you can find when will this quadratic equation have a value which is positive and when will it have a negative value, right? So there are two methods to solve this inequalities. We could do using a graph. So if I sketch a graph of the given function, which in our case is, let me use a different ink, this, we can say approximately the graph will be kind of like this, where the zeros are at minus 6 and plus 6. So clearly, the values where it is greater than 0 are these. So we have our solution that k is either less than minus 6 or k is greater than 6. So using a graph, we can easily solve the equation. So we use graph in this case. So I prefer using a graph, and the solution is so simple, right? Now the other technique definitely is using algebra or table of values. So table of values is something like this. We analyze that we have 2 points where we have zeros. One is at xk equals to minus 6, the other one is at plus 6. Now, within this intervals which we have three intervals. One is from minus infinity to minus 6. The other one is from minus 6 to 6, and then we have from 6 to infinity. So we are going to take test points in these intervals. We could take a test point minus 7 here, 0 here, and 7 in that place. And what are we testing? We are testing the factors which are 4 times k minus 6, you can say, and k plus 6. So we will just test these values, and then from there we'll figure out when is the graph positive and when is the graph negative. So in the first case, if I substitute minus 7, I get a negative value. 0 will give us a negative value. That is for k, right? And that will be positive. In the second case, this will be negative, but 0 will give me positive and positive. When you multiply these, in that case, you get a positive answer here, negative there, and then a positive. So clearly, the answer here is also that the value of k is either less than minus 6 or the value of k is greater than 6. So that becomes the solution for k. Correct? So we get this as our answer. Is that clear? So the question was, determine the values of k such that this equation is there. The values of k are as mentioned here. Perfect? Or by graph, which we found out. So I hope you've understood the basic method. And now let's do the other three questions. Question number 2 is, determine the value of k so that the equation y equals to, let's write down the equation, y equals to x squared minus 4kx plus k has equal roots. Now when I say equal roots, in that case it means that the discriminant is 0, right? Which is, we are trying to say that b square minus 4ac is 0. So in this case, b square is minus 4k, that is b square, minus 4 times a is 1 and c is k, and that should be equal to 0. So in this case, we are going to learn how to solve an equation. Well, so this is 4 square is 16, 16k square minus 4k equals to 0. We can take 4k common now. So we get 4k minus 1 equals to 0. So this is 0 when 4k equals to 0, or you can say and both, right? 4k minus 1 equals to 0. So this gives us one solution which is k equals to 0, and that gives us another solution which is k equals to 1 over 4. So we have two solutions in this particular case, and therefore our answer here is k equals to 0 or k equals to 1 over 4. Is that clear to you? So for both these values, we'll have equal roots, right? So we'll have equal roots for k equals to these two values. The next question here is, determine the values of k such that the equation y equals to 4kx squared plus 8x plus k has no solution, right? So no solution will now mean no real solution, correct? So no real solution. Let's write down the equation once again. The equation this time is y equals to 4k x squared plus 8x plus k. We want no solution, means no real solution. Is it okay? No real solution will mean that b squared minus 4ac, which we say discriminant, is less than 0. So in this case, b is equal to 8, A is equals to 4k, and C is equal to k. So we have to solve the equation, which is 8 square minus 4 times A, which is 4k, times k should be less than 0. So that is the inequality which we are going to solve in this particular case. So what we get here is 8 squared is 64 minus 4 times 4 is 16. K square should be less than 0. Now you can take 16 common. It's good to factor and then solve. 16 goes 4 times in 64. We have k square less than 0. And that is 16 times, you can write this as 2 plus k and 2 minus k, which is less than 0. So see, when you multiply this, you actually get negative k, right? So what we get here is 16, 2 plus k and 2 minus k less than 0. So if you graph this, how will your graph look like? In the graph, we are only interested in figuring out the intervals where the graph is positive or negative. So it'll be upside down, kind of like this. Correct? So that is how the graph is going to be, where the solution will not be found. We get this as minus 2, that is 2. So these are the two zeros. 0 is at k equals to minus 2, and at k equals to plus 2. At these 2 points, we get these zeros. We are interested in finding no solution. No solution will mean that we are looking into the interval when this whole thing is 0. As seen from the graph, it is clearly the portion which is beyond towards infinity, right? From 2n minus 2, correct? So that is what is the solution for the given situation. So we can write down our answer in this case, which is k is less than minus 2 or k is greater than plus 2. Sometimes we also write this value as that the absolute value of k is greater than 2. So that could also be part of a solution, only this. Or you write both of them as we have mentioned, right? So or like this. Or on a number line, you could represent the solution as I'm going to now show on this number line, let's say from minus 2 left and from plus 2 towards the right. So all these are different ways of providing the solution. Perfect. So that is how you're going to solve your inequality and then write down the answer. Now here is the last question, question number 4. The equation y equals to k plus 3x square plus 2 k plus 3x plus, this is extra, plus 4 has only one solution. Find the value of k, right? So that is the question for you. Sorry for the typing error. This term is not there. So it is, let me rewrite this particular equation, which is y equals to k plus 3 x square plus 2 times k plus 3 plus 4, and we are looking for only one solution, right? So one solution. That means the discriminant should be equal to 0, right? So we want b square minus 4ac as equal to 0. B is 2 times k plus 3 here, that is b. Square means you will square both the coefficient of k plus 3, which is 2, and also k plus 3. So b squared minus 4 times a, which is k plus 3, c is which is 4. and that should be equal to 0. So that is the equation which you need to solve. So let's open this bracket. So we get 4 times k plus 3 whole square minus 16 times k plus 3 equals to 0. K plus 3 is common. So we get 4 times k plus 3 minus 16 equals to 0. We could have taken 4 also common actually. So in fact, we'll take 4 also common. So we get 4 times k plus 3 times k plus 3 minus 4 equals to 0. So now we can solve this particular equation. We have two parts. One is 4 times k plus 3 equals to 0. That gives you k equals to minus 3. So this is one solution, right? The other one is we have k plus 3 minus 4 equals to 0, which gives you k minus 1 equals to 0 or k equals to 1. So we have two answers in this particular case. We can write down our answer as k equals to minus 3 or k equals to 1. Right? So that becomes the solution for the given equation. Perfect. So that is how we are going to solve this particular equation. So with that, we come to an end of our solutions. We began with the four quadratic equations. In this case, we are working in the set of real numbers, right? So we are working in the set of real numbers. We learned how to solve the inequalities, and to find the number of roots, we equated the discriminant, which is b square minus 4ac, to 0 for one real root, greater than 0 for two real roots, and less than 0 for no real root, to find the value of unknown, which in most of the cases was k. And as you can see, k had different positions in our equations, and we have therefore solved equations which had different positions of k. Sorry for this typing error, that x was extra here. So with this, we come to an end, and I hope it helps you to understand the concept. Feel free to write your comment, share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for your time, and all the best.